All right, let's get into this story. It's an old chronicle about a truly desperate fight and the disappearance that came right after. You see, this isn't just some tale about a battle. It's really a story about loss.
2 words. That's it. That's how the entire life-changing moment is summarized. They're so stark, aren't they? So final. They just kind of hang in the air with this awful weight, and they perfectly capture that raw shock, that sudden gut punch of emptiness.
So, yeah, how did it get to this point? To really understand what taken and lost means here, we've got to go back. Back to the very beginning of the fight, to the moment the sky itself decided to turn against them.
Okay, so Section 1, the suffocating shadow, a hunt in the endless night. And the account is really clear about this. This was no random fight. The things that attacked them were precise, they were methodical, and they were after someone specific.
So what exactly were they fighting? Well, the text calls them cloakers, and the description is just chilling. They're described as living shadows, winged predators that don't just kill you, they completely engulf you. I mean, try to imagine a piece of the night sky that suddenly has wings and a mind of its own.
And their method of attack is, well, it's terrifyingly efficient. It's basically a 3-step playbook. First, they dive on you from above. Second, they wrap you up, smothering you. And third, they just pluck you out of the fight and drag you up into the sky. Gone.
The party's response, though, was immediate. And you can feel the chaos in the way the chronicler writes about it. These short, sharp phrases, it's all just ringing swords and quick flashes of magic lighting up this overwhelming darkness. It's a pure, frantic struggle just to stay alive.
But the attack was absolutely relentless. You know, they had just managed to free their friend Calypso from one of these things, only for another one to drop down and grab her a second later. It's like for every tiny victory they scraped out, the enemy had an immediate, brutal answer.
And while all this was happening, while the group was trying to save Calypso, one of their own, Talenor was fighting a totally different battle. The record says he was trapped for nearly a full minute inside that smothering embrace. He only got out with a desperate burst of magic. A whole minute, that's an eternity when you can't breathe.
And right there, that's the turning point. In the middle of all the noise, the beating wings, everyone fighting for their own lives, the unthinkable happened. She was just gone, swallowed up by the night. That was the moment the battle was truly lost.
Which brings us to Section 2, a flight from failure, the weight of a vanished friend. Because with Calypso gone, the fighting's over, but the nightmare is not. Now they're not just running from a monster, they're running from what they couldn't do.
You know, that kind of despair, it could have just frozen them in place. But it didn't. Instead, in this moment of just pure desperation, their druid, Cedric, undergoes this insane, painful-sounding transformation. His bones literally twist into the shape of a massive, cat-like creature, a moorbounder, built for one thing and one thing only: running.
One word. That's all he says. And that one word tells you everything you need to know about Cedric in that moment. There was no time for grief, no debate. Just a single, sharp command that sliced right through the chaos. His focus was absolute.
And just like that, the frantic shrieks of the chase fade away, and they're replaced by something that's maybe even worse: this profound, crushing silence. The kind of quiet that's filled with everything they can't bring themselves to say.
But that silence? It gets shattered by Roberto. The account says he was pacing like a caged wolf, and his words, man, they're the polar opposite of Cedric's stoic command. This isn't just determination, it's raw. It's a grieving, angry vow. The search wasn't over, no way. It was just getting started.
So, Section 3, Hope Forged in Snow, a traveler's desperate ritual. Okay, so they have no tracks, no trail, and hope is pretty much gone. Where do you even turn? Well, you turn to magic, but not the flashy combat kind of magic. Something older. Something born from just pure, desperate faith.
Now this part is just fascinating. Talenor, the same guy who barely escaped the cloaker, he tries what the record calls an old traveler's trick. Honestly, it sounds like something out of a fairy tale, right? You carve a door in the snow, you hold up a strange key, and you whisper a wish. I mean, talk about a long shot.
And yet, it worked. Against every law of nature, against all logic, what should have been absolutely impossible just happened.
Right there, out of nothing but snow, a key, and a wish, a glowing doorway made of pure light just forms.
It's a moment that completely spits in the face of reality. It's a tear in the world, and maybe, just maybe, their only way to find Calypso.
And that brings us to Section 4, the hut on the lake, a threshold to an unnatural place. So they step through this impossible door, and they find themselves somewhere wrong. The world on the other side is not the one they just left. They've walked into a place that plays by a whole different set of rules.
And just look at the details here. A lake that's not frozen in the dead of winter. Trees that look like cracked bones with blackened bark. The air is so still it feels heavy, like it's pressing on you. And right in the middle of it all, there's this crude hut on the water with candles inside that seem to be watching them. I mean, come on, every single detail here just screams that this place is deeply unnatural and probably not friendly.
But after everything they've just been through, the fight, the loss, the miracle door, they don't hesitate, not for a second. They see the only landmark in this twisted, broken place, and they just start walking towards it, towards the only possible answer they have left.
So that's where we're left. They've traded a dark sky for a dark lake. They've swapped a monster they knew for a mystery they don't. The record ends right here, leaving us all to wonder. Is the answer to what happened to Calypso waiting inside that hut? Or is this just the beginning of a whole new nightmare?